This is the Cube Kathmandu EXC 750 watt-hour Bosch PowerTube. It's using the smart system. And I've got a couple of the other Cube bikes here, starting with the One and the Pro. So the EXC, it's higher end, it's using nicer parts, and you might be asking yourself, like, is it worth it? Why would I pay a little bit more for this? One of the big highlights for me is the suspension fork. So it's a little bit thicker, 32 millimeter stanchions, and these are anodized aluminum, and it's an air fork, so it's a little bit lighter than the One. See, these are 30 millimeter stanchions, steel, and this is a spring fork with limited adjustability, preload adjustment, versus progressive lockout here. This is compression adjust, but no rebound. And then this one has a nice compression lockout as well as rebound. Now these two are actually boost hub spacing, so we have a wider hub, 110 millimeters instead of 100, gives you a sturdier spoke bracing angle with a 15 millimeter through axle, so it's stiff, it's sturdy, and then 148 millimeters back here with a 12 millimeter through axle. So you're getting a sturdier bike that I think it's rated up to like 306 pounds, which is quite a lot of weight, and the bike itself weighs about 61 pounds. Comes in multiple frame styles, so we got high step or this very easy entry step through, and multiple sizes, colors. It's a really nice setup here. You'll notice that with the high step we've got 2 bottle cage bosses versus none over here on the step through. And to me, I felt like they could have put some right there, which is maybe a missed opportunity. Up here on the rack, you could have a trunk bag with a little bottle holster, or you could have a little cup holder up here on the handlebar. There's room for adding a pannier on the side, and then the drivetrain is a big upgrade. This is 10 to 51 12 speed with Shimano Deore, and this derailleur has a clutch, so you can put it in the up position, that little plastic lever, and it tightens it. So this derailleur is not going to bounce around as much. The chain's not going to bounce around, and that's sort of a mountain biking feature. I do think that this bike, this is like a hybrid. 100 millimeters of suspension travel, even got a suspension seat post. You could take this off-road, do some light cross-country riding. The tires, these are 28 by 2.15, so you got a low attack angle, a little bit more volume. They're not plus size or anything, but they're still pretty good. And we've got that Energizer 50 km/h rating. That's an e-bike thing. G-Guard 5 puncture protection, Addix E, e-bike specific rubber, Schwabe Energizer Plus. These are nice. They got that beautiful reflective sidewall stripe that's going to pair nicely with the integrated lights. And I love that the rims even have reinforcement eyelets. That makes them a little bit stronger. If you're truing the wheel, doing some adjustments, you won't crack the rim. Probably contributes to that higher overall weight rating of the bike. If we look at this front fender, it's nice, it's plastic. It doesn't go super low, but it's, again, maybe a little bit more capable off-road. There's decent clearance here if a stick or something gets shoved in there. The interface, it's this plastic cuff with these rubber bands. I guess that makes it easier to remove. I noticed that there's like a direct mount below it, which to me seems like the way to go because the plastic can get brittle over time. And all the other ones, they have this direct mount design. So I don't know. I mean, Cube makes their own accessories. They call them Acid. You can see the logo right there. I do really like this rear light, even though it looks very small. It's visible from a lot of different angles. We got a reflector in the back. I like the kickstand, adjustable length, good positioning. It's not going to create pedal lock. And interestingly, they're using this external magnet, spoke mounted, with a sensor. Some of the newer mountain bikes have like a little magnet here and a reader that's much more tucked in. It's not going to get dusty, it's not going to get kicked out of position and cause a read error. So if you do get a read error, this is the first place to look if you've been going off-road. Also, the battery charge port location, it's kind of low. You know, the bike tips this way, so you have to bend down, get to it. This is where the bike, it could be a little bit wetter and dirtier because you're down here and dust is coming up. Bosch systems are highly rated against water and dust, but still, it's a bit of a trade-off. And then if someone cycles the pedal backwards, it can unplug it or kind of shear this off. So that's one of the things I consider. The Bosch Performance Line CX offers 80 Newton meters of torque. It measures rear wheel speed, pedal cadence, and pedal torque over 1,000 times per second. It gives you over 120 RPM pedal support. So if you are in one of these lower gears and you're spinning quickly, the motor will still support you. And that's really nice. You can ride the bike you want, the way you want to, without having to think about that motor. It's very dynamic. And there's so many settings now with this, the Bosch Kiox 300 display panel up here. So you can adjust the eco and turbo assist levels to have them ramp up quicker if you want. There's even an auto mode. I think that's pretty great. Here is the battery cover. Again, this is the PowerTube 750 in there, very high capacity with an ABS locking core. When you unlock the bike, you know, you kind of take the battery out. To get the battery back in, you have to unlock that again. So it's a little bit more finicky. I would just expect to sort of push it and have it click in, but it just means you got to keep that key handy. I think you can match folding locks and stuff to that same key, which is nice, so you don't have to carry around a whole bunch of keys. This cover is beautiful. It's color matched. The downside is it doesn't lock to the frame, so if this is at a bike rack, someone could just come and take this, or, you know, I don't know. It's sort of, maybe it's not a big concern for a lot of people, and maybe that doesn't happen, but to me it's just sort of, it's a little less secure. I want to point out that Cube has done a pretty good job with their frames. They have a frame lock mounting point right here, and there's even like another rack mount back here, even though we already have a rack. So there's just a lot of possibilities here for add-ons, except for bottle cage bosses. You know, to me that was like, how could they miss that? Or why did they choose not to do it? We've got hydraulic disc brakes, pretty solid Shimano, 180 millimeter rotors front and rear, and we have a dual piston caliper in the rear, quad piston up front. So that's one of the upgrades here on the EXC compared to some of the other bikes in the lineup. One thing I've been commenting on too is with the headlight, as nice as it is, it has side cutouts and everything, it's mounted here on the lowers of the suspension fork, which means it's going to go up and down as you navigate bumpy terrain. So it's unsprung. Compared to if they had it here on the crown, that is sprung. It would be a little higher, so you wouldn't have the same blockage of the fender and the tire. I just think it'd be a better position. Some bikes put it way up here, which is nice, but then the wires and stuff can kind of block it, and it gets a little busy. Another great feature here is this block lock. So all of these bikes, they stop the handlebar from swiveling around, which could rip out these cables in the event of an accident or a tip. This Kiox 300 is completely removable. If you want to, you can operate the bike completely with the LED remote. And there's even a little charge port on the bottom, but unfortunately, it's for diagnostics, not actually for charging. And with such a high capacity battery, it's maybe a missed opportunity if you have GPS or some other accessory. Bosch does have a separate phone mount that can interact, and you can use their e-bike flow app just to operate the bike. So there's so many options here. I think Cube has done a great job, and this is, you know, pretty nice looking bike, basically capable of anything with high quality rims, and all the accessories are set up, even the suspension seat post. You really don't need to do anything, and then you can have that upright position during the week and you're navigating traffic, and then a little bit more forward if you're going on a trail over the weekend or going on a longer ride. This is just a quick review short. It's free. I do want to thank City Cycles here in North Vancouver for letting me check these bikes out. This is the kind of bike you see people using around here, because we do have these big hills and stuff, and having a higher torque 85 Newton meter rated motor is a good way to go. I think any of these bikes could be a good choice. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and consider sharing it with a friend. And check out my website, ElectricBikeReview.com. There's an awesome category and filter tool set that will help you navigate thousands of electric bikes to find the right one for your lifestyle and budget. You can post comments, connect in the forums, and discover local shops, so you can go in for a test ride and get your bike set up just the way you want it. I've been running EBR since 2012, providing the best data and limiting the ads. Have fun out there, ride safe, and we'll see you next time.